83 arrests, hundreds of fake companies, millions of dollars moved across borders, hidden inside real African banks. This isn't a movie plot. It's a real investigation, one that is exposing how terrorist groups are quietly using Africa's financial system to move money, buy weapons, and fund chaos around the world. From Nairobi to Lagos, from Mogadishu to Johannesburg, the web runs deep. Today, we uncover how global terror networks are washing dirty money through African banks, and how authorities finally caught 83 suspects in one of the biggest anti-terror finance operations in recent years. It started quietly. In early 2025, police in Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa carried out a series of coordinated raids. After months of intelligence work involving Interpol, the Europol, and local financial crime units, when the dust settled, 83 people were arrested. Among them were business owners, bank managers, crypto traders, and even charity workers. Authorities said they were all part of a global terror finance network linked to extremist organizations operating across East and West Africa. But here is the shocking part. Most of the money didn't move in cash. It moved through legit banks, fintech apps, and even mobile money platforms used by millions of ordinary Africans every day. Investigators found that over $35 million had been laundered through fake import and export companies, NGO donations, and cryptocurrency exchanges. Some of this money eventually funded violent attacks in Somalia, northern Nigeria, and even parts of the Middle East. The arrests were part of what officials later called Operation Silent River. The name was symbolic because the money flowed quietly like a river beneath the surface. To understand this, we need to know how terror financing really works. Contrary to what many think, terrorist groups rarely move suitcases full of cash across borders anymore. Instead, they blend in using the same banking system that everyone else uses. They do this in three main ways. First, by setting up fake businesses. For example, a shell company might claim to be importing agricultural tools from Dubai to Nairobi. On paper, it looks legitimate. In reality, there are no tools, just an invoice for $200,000 that allows money to be transferred from one account to another cleanly. Second, they use charities and NGOs. Donations come in from sympathetic supporters abroad, sometimes genuinely believing they are helping refugees or disaster victims. But part of that money gets siphoned off through fake projects and ends up funding weapons or logistics for militants. Third, they rely on informal networks and newly technology, especially mobile money and cryptocurrency. In part of East Africa, groups like Al-Shabaab and ISIS affiliates have exploited platforms like M-Pesa and crypto wallets to send money quickly in small amounts that are hard to trace. In short, it's not about smuggling cash anymore. It's about hiding in plain sight. Now here is the uncomfortable truth. Many of these transactions happened inside Africa's banking system, and in some cases with the help of insiders. Investigators revealed that some local bank staff, either out of greed or ignorance, failed to flag suspicious transactions. Others actively helped create fake documents to make dirty money look legitimate. One shocking case came from Lagos, Nigeria. A mid-level bank officer was paid $5,000 to approve dozens of suspicious wire transfers tied to a front company. Each transfer looked small, under $10,000, just low enough to avoid mandatory reporting threshold. In Kenya, several mobile money agents were found registering fake SIM cards used to open thousands of ghost accounts. These accounts acted as digital wallets, a perfect tool for layering and hiding funds. And in South Africa, a group of businessmen laundered millions through luxury car dealerships and real estate firms. They would buy expensive cars in cash, resell them abroad, and wire the profits back as clean money. This shows how financial systems, if left unmonitored, can easily become weapons in the wrong hands. This story isn't just about Africa. It's a part of a global web. The money trail led investigators to Dubai, Turkey, the UK, and even Southeast Asia. Many of the companies used African banks as middlemen to move funds without raising red flags in Western systems. Why Africa? Because for many international criminals and extremists, African banks are the perfect storm. Growing economies, booming digital finance, weak oversight in some regions, and terrorist groups have taken notice. In East Africa, Al-Shabaab has long run smuggling operations involving charcoal, sugar, and fuel, earning up to $100 million a year. Much of that money is laundered through small traders and cross-border accounts. In West Africa, ISIS-linked cells in the Sahel region use gold smuggling and ransom payments often transferred through banks in Nigeria, Ghana, and Senegal. Some money even moves through cryptocurrency exchanges in South Africa and Mauritius, countries with fast-growing fintech sectors and relatively light crypto regulation. It's a global network of hidden wires, fake invoices, and complicit intermediaries, all designed to turn black money white. So, how did authorities finally crack it? The breakthrough came when analysts at Kenya's Financial Reporting Center noticed an unusual pattern. A group of small import companies were all wiring similar amounts of money to accounts in Dubai using identical wording in their payment notes. When investigators dug deeper, they found that all the companies shared the same registered address, a tiny office in downtown Nairobi with no real activity. This led to a months-long undercover operation involving Kenyan police, the Nigerian Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), and Interpol. Agents tracked dozens of transactions and quietly mapped out the web. The final raids, carried out simultaneously in 6 countries, seized more than $9 million in cash, 28 properties, and hundreds of fake documents. Among the arrested were a former NGO accountant who helped divert charity funds, 2 cryptocurrency brokers, several bankers, and a logistics company owner believed to be the key coordinator. Interpol later described Operation Silent River as one of the largest coordinated terror finance crackdowns ever carried out in Africa. Officials said the arrest sent a powerful message. The African banks can no longer be seen as soft targets for laundering. To understand why terrorists turned to African banks, we have to look at context. In the last decade, Africa has become a financial revolution zone, with more than 500 million people using mobile money. That is more than any other continent. Fintech startups are booming, cross-border trade is expanding, and remittance from the diaspora bring in over $100 billion a year. But this growth also brought a problem. Weak compliance systems in some banks, poor KYC processes in mobile money, and limited coordination between countries. In some rural areas, one person can open 10 accounts with different IDs. And in some countries, regulators still rely on manual paperwork to track suspicious activity. For global crime networks, that is a dream come true. Terror groups realized they could move small amounts, $500 here, $1,000 there, through thousands of digital wallets. Individually, each transfer looks harmless, but together, it's millions, funding weapons, transport, propaganda, and recruitment. That is how a single mobile phone transaction in Nairobi can eventually pay for a weapon, shipment in Somalia, or an attack in the Sahel. It's a chilling example of how modern technology built to connect people is also being weaponized. The good news is, change is happening. After the 83 arrests, African regulators began tightening anti-money laundering rules. The African Union, together with the Financial Action Task Force (FATF), launched new regional standards to trace digital payments and crypto activity. Countries like Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa are now introducing AI-powered transaction monitoring systems capable of spotting unusual money patterns in real time. Banks are also being forced to report every large or suspicious transaction, not just over $10,000. Meanwhile, the fintech industry is under pressure to verify all user identities with national databases. But experts say it's not just about technology, it's also about trust and cooperation. Terror financing doesn't stop at borders, and neither should law enforcement. That is why Interpol is now helping create a Pan-African financial intelligence network to share data faster between countries. Still, the war isn't over. As systems evolve, so do criminals. Every time a loophole closes, another one opens somewhere else. Behind the numbers and arrests, there are real human stories. When money meant for hospitals or schools is diverted to fund terror, communities pay the price. When small businesses are used as fronts, honest traders lose credibility. And when banks get blacklisted, entire nations struggle to attract investors. Terror finance doesn't just fuel violence, it silently kills opportunity. Experts estimate that Africa loses over $90 billion each year to illicit financial flows, money that could have built roads, educated children, and lifted millions out of poverty. So, the fight against terror financing isn't just about stopping bombs or bullets, it's about protecting Africa's economic future. The world is entering a new era of financial warfare. Criminals no longer need weapons to cause chaos. They only need a smartphone, a fake company, and a willing bank account. The battlefield isn't just deserts or jungles anymore. It's digital, filled with codes, accounts, and transfers that can topple economies or fund destruction. But the story of Operation Silent River proves one thing. When nations cooperate, when data is shared, and when technology is used for good, the tide can turn. The 83 arrests were just the beginning. Hundreds more investigations are on the way, and authorities believe billions in illicit funds could still be hidden across the continent. Africa is changing. Its financial systems are growing stronger, smarter, and more connected than ever before. But every innovation brings responsibility, because for every honest transaction, there is someone, somewhere, trying to exploit it. The war on terror isn't only fought on the battlefield. It's fought in the spreadsheets, in the servers, and inside the walls of banks. And as Operation Silent River has shown, even the quietest currents can carry the darkest secrets. This is how 83 arrests uncovered a hidden empire of terror money, and how Africa is fighting back.